Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Box Office Talk. This is the show where I break down what happened at the box office, see if my predictions for the top 5 are correct, and then make predictions for next week's top 5. So let's get right on into it. Last week I predicted that number 1 would be Bohemian Rhapsody, number 2 would be The Nutcracker and the Four Realms, number 3 would be Halloween, number 4 would be Nobody's Fool, and number 5, A Star is Born. And I got 2 out of 5 of my predictions right for this weekend. The 2 that I got right, not too surprising, but the rest of the 3 actually were able to switch up a little bit, and that kind of caught me off guard. So let's go over what happened in the overall top 10. Number 1 was, of course, Bohemian Rhapsody, actually opening up a little bit better than the $38 million trajectory earlier. It made $50 million this weekend, and that's on a budget of $52 million, so that's already a good start there. And then worldwide, it is already at $141 million, so it's already doubled that $52 million budget, and has made $37 million over that, too. So that's already fantastic for this film, a film that a lot of people thought would end up being disastrous, that no one would want to see because of the director controversy, the switch up between Bryan Singer and Dexter Fletcher and all this stuff, but has actually already made a lot of money for itself. Obviously, it also has a lot of audience cheer going on, people spreading the word that they really liked it, want others to see it. You got to see it if you're a Queen fan, so of course it is going to make a lot of money in that respect too. Moving on to number 2, however, we have a little bit of a lower grosser, that is The Nutcracker and the Four Realms. Now, this movie doesn't cost as much as other live-action Disney films. The budget, last time I checked, sitting at like $135 million, something like that. So it's not like it's off to a horrible start or anything. It did open with like $20 million this weekend, and worldwide it is already sitting at $58 million. So it needs to get to $270 million to be considered a success, and I think worldwide it'll definitely be able to do that, but right now it's not looking like it'll be a huge movie like Oz the Great and Powerful or Maleficent or The Jungle Book or something like that. Some other live-action Disney film like that, but I think if the reviews were a little bit more favorable to it, then a lot of families would be like, all right, let's go see The Nutcracker, kids, but I think because there was a lot of low reception towards it, that's why they kind of stayed home on it. Moving on to number 3, we have Nobody's Fool, making $14 million, and even though there is no worldwide total right now, I don't think it'll be able to flop necessarily. The budget is relatively low, sitting at $19 million. They need only $38 million to be considered a success, and I really do think that that'll be easy for them to get to, at least. Like, I honestly don't see this film becoming a flop anytime soon, despite the kind of low opening that it has. But it's a Tyler Perry movie. They made it for a lot cheaper than your average comedy film, so I think they're totally fine in that way. Moving on to number 4, we have A Star is Born, making $11.1 million, adding to a domestic total of $165 million, $35 million away from getting to $200 million domestically, and on the worldwide chart, it is sitting at $293 million, so $7 million away from getting to $300 million worldwide, which is fantastic. And one thing I really want to bring up is the fact that this movie made $11.1 million, but the movie in the number 5 slot, being Halloween, made $11.01 million. So these movies could definitely flip-flop when the actual more accurate results come out, so keep that in mind. But right now it's looking like A Star is Born nudged out Halloween for that number 4 spot. Halloween, however, is already a great success. That $11 million adds to a domestic total of $150, and worldwide it is sitting at $229 million. It needs like $20 to $30 million more dollars until it outgrosses Get Out to be Blumhouse's highest grossing film domestically, so that's fantastic. It'll be interesting to see that happen, to say the least. I think Get Out is personally the better movie, but, you know, a lot of people love Halloween and Michael Myers. Number 6, we have Venom, making $7 million, adding to a domestic total of $198, and on the worldwide chart, it is sitting at $541 million. So $2 million away from getting to $200 million domestically, and it still has a ways to go until it gets to $600 million worldwide, but I think it's already fine. They're already putting forth their cinematic universe plans, their Venom 2, so it doesn't matter at this point. It's already a huge success for Sony at this point. Number 7, we have Smallfoot, making $3.8 million, adding to a domestic total of $77 million, and on the worldwide chart, it is sitting at $192 million. So there you go. Last weekend, it just kind of barely crossed over its doubling point, and now it's like $32 million over that. It's $8 million away from getting to $200 million worldwide. Smallfoot actually has been able to turn around, as far as me thinking it was a flop at first, and now it's actually a pretty moderate success. So good job, Warner Brothers Animation. Moving on to number 8, we have Goosebumps 2, which also is a little bit more of a moderate success right now. now. It made 3.7 million, adding to a domestic total of 43 million, but on the worldwide chart, it is sitting at 82, which is 12 million over its $70 million doubling point budget. So that's pretty good. It made $12 million over that. I don't think it's going to get to 100 million worldwide, but hey, at least it's not a complete flop or anything like that. Now, like this in Smallfoot, we're actually able to become moderate hits in some way. Whether you actually like those films or not, it's completely up to you, but at least they're able to make some money back. So congrats, guys. Moving on to number 9, we have Hunter Killer, making 3.5 million, adding to a domestic total of 12 million. It doesn't have a worldwide total still, and it still needs to get to about 80 million to be considered a success, but it's nowhere close to that right now. It probably won't even be here next week, so I think it's safe to say that this movie is a complete flop, and no one's going to remember it in at least next week, basically. No one's going to remember it right now, honestly. And finally, closing out the top 10, we have The Hate U Give, making 3.4 million, adding to a domestic total of 23 million, which is the exact budget of the film, but it needed 46 to really be considered a success, and worldwide it is only at 25 million. So unfortunately, this film, I don't think really got the attention that it really needed to actually make a lot of money back, which I've heard is pretty unfortunate because it's actually a good movie, but you know, some people find the subject matter to be rough to watch, but at the same time, if it was a good movie, then I think it does deserve at least something. But now it's time for the fun part, the predictions for next week's top 5. Number 1, The Grinch, easy, very easy. Number 2, Bohemian Rhapsody. Number 3, Overlord. Number 4, The Girl in the Spider's Web. And then number 5, The Nutcracker and the Four Realms. But what are your predictions for next week's top 5? Leave them in the comments below. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time.